So today, we're playing the Berserker, and we've got a fun build for this video. We're wielding the stable double axe, but we put together a super defensive build with some Shaman runes and a Dragonscale armor for that damage reduction. And we're also using the shielded skill alongside with our trusty moon shields to block a lot of incoming damage too. Will can our double axe smash through opponents' defenses before they break through ours? Well, let's find out. Okay, let's go and jump some rank games with the Berserker and see what we can do today. Okay, so for first rounds, we are going to be grabbing this wooden sword and we're going to be grabbing this whetstone. And now a big change is that a wooden sword now can be crafted up into a hero sword using just one whetstone, making it much easier to get your falcon blade and that hero longsword as well as that crossblades. But hey, I'm going to be grabbing a big old banana, I'm going to be grabbing a garlic too, I'm going to be rolling for now. And the really crazy thing is, we could have a turn 3 steel goobert. Which, you know what, I'm going to be reserving and I will be taking it for now. I'm also going to reserve the broom because we're going to need to grab an extra weapon as well, but yeah, we're going to move on. Now, it shouldn't be too bad. We don't have a crazy amount of DPS because we just have a wooden sword and a little forging hammer with a whetstone, but we do have a banana and a garlic and our battle edge. So potentially we could win out and smash it. Just pause the video to remind you to like, comment or subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It really helps me out. Thanks. Now let's get back to the video. Definitely not too bad. Now that is also a pair of gloves, which makes me want to go for a falcon blade. But hey, we're going to be locking in that steel goobert round 2. First of all, let's grab a broom. Let's add this in, craft up that steel goobert. And I will have to reserve these gloves of haste for now. But yeah, I will be moving on and I'm going to be crafting up our steel gooberts. Their opponent does have a leaf badge. They're going to be crafting up double shovels. They're going to use up a lot of stamina with their triple weapons. And they're going to be flicking some poison on us, but with their steel gooberts, awesome. Definitely awesome for sure. Okay, for this round, I'm going to be grabbing a fanny pack. Let's grab a wooden sword again. And I want to grab ourselves a pair of gloves. Now, I'm also going to grab ourselves this garlic too. And unfortunately, I will be moving on with this for now. Now, we could have also just left it the way we had it before, used our fanny pack over here to increase the damage whenever we do activate our steel goobert, but for right now, I'd much rather get that 16 block than a tiny bit of scaling damage. Allowing us to stack up some blinds, which shouldn't be too bad. That 16 block is going to be quite significant as well. So yeah, we should be in a pretty good spot, although with the shield, we are running out of stamina without a banana in, so not so great. But that's a decent bit of block. And with our garlics, we're stacking up block, and then our steel goobert is proc. And yeah, we should potentially be able to win out here. Awesome. Not too bad for sure. So we do got a couple of options. Heavy drinking has been nerfed quite significantly again, making it 10 seconds to actually activate a random potion. Big old nerf compared to what it used to be, but it did get buffed in regards that it triggers 50% faster for each different potion. Looks like that's clearly the way that you kind of want to play heavy drinking, stacking up a bunch of different potions, getting a ton of value that way. Then we got shielded, which stays the same, but I kind of want to take up for steel goobers and go for some shields of valors. Then we got super spacious, which did get a bit of a buff, triggering our items a little bit faster. Then just stats is still the same, but I think we're going to take shielded for now. And we did get a leather armor, but I'm not going to be taking it. I'm going to grab this stone. We could grab the bag of stones, but I'm going to roll. And that is a freaking turnip, which I'm not going to be taking. I'm going to take the fanny pack. I'm going to keep moving for now. I'm going to grab a ton of storage. And we definitely want the shield. To the point where I'm going to sell that stone so we can actually take it for now. But hey, we could run with something like this, which should be pretty smashing. And you know what? I think we are. Our banana's still not going to be in, but we should be in a pretty decent spot with this setup once again. With a shielded, we do get a 60% chance to block 7 damage, which will trigger steel gooberts quite effectively going up against something like this build, which should give us that block, which should scale up our damage on our little forging hammer, along with our wooden sword too. However, it's looking pretty darn close because that magic staff is a ranged weapon. It actually doesn't trigger our shield, so unfortunately we do end up falling short. Now we could just straight up craft a spike shield. Spike shield will be pretty darn awesome for right now. Stacking up some spikes, increasing our damage that way. Or we could wait for frozen buckler, that way we prevent more damage. But ideally we want to grab a moon shield because it is going to be a ranged blocking as well. But I'm going to grab this for now. I'm going to roll. We're going to have to grab this bit of storage and add in our banana as well. I'm going to be crafting up that spike shield for sure. I'm going to roll again. And you know what? We might actually change up to an axe here. Try to go for double axe with that steel goobers. Seems pretty decent to me. It is a little bit late to grab the axe though. It is round 5. Which might not be the smartest idea. But hey, can we deal with double shields? With the power of the moon, they're going to get a big old max health. But they only have 2 little short bows. Now, unfortunately, again, short bow is going to be ranged, which does not trigger our wooden buckler. So, unfortunately, yeah, our opponent could potentially outpace us here for sure. That fatigue damage is taking us down. We do enter a battle rage, but yeah, we do face an opponent that literally just counters this quite significantly. Super unfortunate, it is what it is. Now, we could have actually had a freaking frozen buckler. But hey, I'm going to be buying this axe. I'm going to sell the broom. I'm going to sell the gloves. I'm going to grab this bit of storage. I'm going to increase the speed of our axe. And, you know, I'm going to grab this box of riches too. But again, I will be moving on with this for now. So we should be able to stack up a lot more damage with our axe. So no, it should be pretty decent. We're shielded. Going up again. A lot of little weapons is going to be super ideal for us. They're all melee weapon based. That's going to trigger spike shield pretty fast. Give us a ton of spikes. Activating our steel goobert insanely fast. Stacking up that damage pretty decently on our axe. And awesome. Definitely not too bad. Now, here's the thing. I do really want to grab a mana orb because I do want to go for that moon shield. So that's going to be perfect. I'm going to take this little gemstone as I roll for now. And I will be taking another freaking gloves. Now, we can also be grabbing a blueberry. That way, if we do stack up enough mana, we can actually start scaling up our accuracy. But I'm going to leave for now. I just have our mana orb in this position, targeting our spike shields. Along with a forging hammer, because honestly, we don't really have much use for mana right now. But hey, we are going to begin Markswoman, which did get a bit of a buff. It does increase the damage a lot more. And especially with that spike staff, or that magic staff, they actually ended up dealing quite a bit of damage. So we did end up falling short, unfortunately. But hey, which subclass should we go for? Honestly, the Brass Knuckles got a bit of a buff with the amount of chances it can stun. It's pretty nice, but Shaman on sale, I'm going to be grabbing. Now, we could also be going for, in a practically large greatsword, go for big old busted blade, but I think we're due for a double axe run. So that is exactly what we're going to do. So unfortunately, we're going to switch this over to this side, increasing the speed of our banana, because, yeah, we're going to need a lot of stamina. Now, the question is, do we really want to spend 8 golds on this to reduce our opponent's healing by quite a bit? Am I crazy enough? Hell yeah. Probably not the best idea, and I do want to grab an elephant rune. That way we do start off with a lot more max life. But before we do move on, I'm going to place all our items over in here for now. Now we get some scaling damage on our little forging hammer as well. And let's keep going. So we should be in a pretty decent spot. We do reduce our opponent's healing by quite a bit. So our opponent's lifesteal with that utility pouch is not going to provide him with too much. Now they're going to reduce a lot of our scaling damage with that katana, which is really not great for us. But hey, at least with our Shaman Mask in, with the amount of gemstones we do have, we do stack up a decent bit of buffs. So in all, we should be in a pretty decent spot. We are going to be running out of stamina pretty badly though. But our battle rage is still going, and awesome. Definitely awesome for us. And we got our big old double axe, which is going to be amazing for us. But hey, we're definitely going to need an stamina sack, for sure. We're also going to grab you, looking for something awesome. I'm feasting. Maybe not so awesome, but we'll take it anyway. I'm going to roll, and we could grab ourselves a moon armor, which I don't really want to take. But I will be taking this extra gemstone, and I'm going to roll again. Definitely want another elfin rune for sure. But if we're going to be increasing the speed of our double axe, it is going to eat up a lot of stamina. Okay, so we did move rolls around, and yeah, we're going to be increasing the speed of our double axe quite significantly. But we're going to be moving on. And we're going to be crafting up another amethyst as well, which should be pretty decent. And we're going to be looking to grab ourselves some shields to craft up a moon shield as well. That way we can block a lot of ranged weapons like this magic staff, which should be pretty darn smashing for us. With this double axe, should be scaling up a bit of decent damage for now. But unfortunately, yeah, our stamina, since we're increasing the speed of it by so much, we do end up falling a little bit short there. For now though, I'm kind of leaning towards more stats. The reason to take more stats is because we're going to be stacking up a lot of max life with our Elfin Runes. And that should be pretty darn smashing. Also increase the damage over double axe. So hell yeah, I'm going to be grabbing it. Now it's another mana orb, which I would like to take. But I'm going to be taking this Elfin Rune. And I'm going to roll. Going to grab this bit of storage. Going to grab another gemstone. Let's keep rolling for now. And I do want to grab this leather armor to craft up into Dragonscale armor. But unfortunately, we do got to move on. Now, Dragonscale armor doesn't really interact with shielded, but it will give us a lot of damage reduction during our battle rage. But we do have 253 max life, which is pretty darn smashing. Giving us more time to scale up our double axe, which shouldn't be too bad. Now, we do need to invest more in stamina options if we're going to be increasing the speed of our double axe, because it does cost 2 stamina right now, which is quite significant. But hey, so far, our opponent is putting up quite a good fight. They do have a lot of heats, they do have a lot of regen, they have removed a lot of our buffs, but awesome. With the double axe, we don't necessarily rely too much on our buffs. So for this round, we're going to grab our leather armor, and Badge Rune on sale is going to be smashing. And we could use this to reduce our items stamina use by 10%. Or we could use it to take a crazy amount less damage during our battle rage, allowing us longer time to scale up our double axe. I do also want to grab this flawed amethyst as well. And I do kind of want to grab ourselves a blueberries. I'm going to roll once, and another freaking Badge Rune is amazing. And our moon shields, our stamina sack, all pretty darn good options. So unfortunately, I think for this round, we are going to be moving our Forging Hammer over, so it doesn't have any scaling damage. We're going to have our banana in this situation for now. We did move our mana orb into this position over here, which actually is going to be better in this position. But we do want to craft up that Dragonscale armor. And yeah, we'll be moving on. So we did take out our gloves as well, which does decrease the speed of that double axe. But honestly, with the amount of stamina consumption, probably shouldn't matter too much for us. But yeah, we'll see. We do reduce a lot of healing. We do have a chance to remove some buffs. And we're going to take a lot less melee and range damage during our battle rage. But that poison is a different story. And unfortunately, that out of stamina proc made us lose that fight. We're down to our final life, which is pretty darn scary. Not going to lie. So we definitely want this moon shields. Like 1000% want this moon shields. We're also going to want to add in our Dragonscale armor too. Our banana is going to have to go in too, and we definitely want to start adding in all these gemstones. Now, we do want to add these in to reduce a lot of healing for ourselves, or on our opponents. We're going to sell one pair of gloves to grab ourselves a Badge Rune as well. I'm going to have to reserve the stamina sack. Now, the only question is, do we sell some things to grab it for right now? I think what we're going to do is we're just going to grab this little bit of a gemstone. And I think we actually move on with this sort of setup. Because once we get our moon shields, we do block a lot of range damage as well. And it's also going to scale up our block on our steel goobers, making us a little bit more defensive as well. Giving us even more time to scale up our double axe, for sure. But yeah, our opponent has a similar setup, except, yeah, they're running 2 single axes and a magic staff. Which are going to have crit chance, they're going to have battle rage as well. And they're actually putting up quite a good fight after dealing a lot of damage to us, but we do answer back and smashing. Pretty darn smashing. And we should be in an even better spot with this moon shield for sure. And we're going to grab you. We're going to grab another banana. We probably should have kept our amethyst feasting in so we can get a different food item, but that should be okay for now anyway. And I'm definitely going to grab another stamina sack as well. We're going to put back in a pair of gloves. And a box of riches I would love to add in as well, but yeah, actually, you know, I'm going to be a little bit greedy and I'm going to add in our box of riches. I'm going to reserve this leather bag, but I'm going to be moving on once again. So we should be in a much better spot. We did increase the speed of our axe once again. But yeah, we'll see. With the moon shield in, we should be able to block a lot of ranged weapons. And we should be able to scale up our steel goobert. It's going to supply a lot of mana for us. And you know what? We could actually put in a good old lamp as well. For sure. Now our opponent is going to be reducing all our healing, but we do rely on a lot of block, less about healing, and just removing all that stamina from our opponent as well. But hey, that fatigue is taken down, but smashing. That's a crazy amount of debuffs on us. And we do need to increase our accuracy, so we do want to find ourselves an eye lamp as well. Well, first of all, let's grab this leather bag. Let's roll. That's more healing reduction, eye lamp, and another elfin rune for more max life. Okay, crazy shop. So I'm going to sell this little green gemstone. I do want to grab this eye lamp pretty much instantly. Now the question is, do we sell our little forging hammer? You know what, I think we do, because I do want to grab this. I do want to grab another elfin rune. But hey, I'm also going to be crafting up more healing reduction. And you know what, I'm going to be moving on. So with the eye lamp, we do scale up our accuracy, and also going to be scaling up some extra damage. But we'll see how we get on with this. With our moon shield, we should be able to remove a lot of stamina from our opponents. And they don't have a banana triggered on their Excalibur. Which is pretty good for us, because they're not going to be triggering stamina whenever they use their Excalibur. But they are going to be stacking up a lot of block. And they have an absurd amount of mana orbs, with mana mastery as well. Which is going to be quite scary. But hey, we do have a lot of healing reduction. We should have lots of damage reduction during our battle rage. And this double X should scale up to crazy amounts of damage. For sure. So, can we still win out? Awesome. Definitely awesome. Now, since we do have so much healing reduction, I kind of do want to grab ourselves a regular sapphire. That way we can attack. That way we can attack true armor on our double axe. But for now, I'm going to grab even more storage, and I'm going to roll. And you know what? I will be taking another badge rune, and this time we're going to be using it to reduce our stamina cost by quite a lot. Now we could also take a glowing crown, which I'm down for because we can craft up a king's crown, reducing that healing even more. We should be crazy good. I also do want to take this increase in speed of our double axe from the very beginning. And we could also increase the speed of our axe, but I'm going to reduce that stamina cost by 10% for now.
Okay.
And we can also place it in our armor, so during our battle rage, we take very little damage. However, our opponent is literally going to be inflicting a crazy amount of debuffs on us with this prismatic sword. So I'm glad we did get this eye lamp, scaling up our accuracy, so we can guarantee that we hit with a double axe, allowing us to scale up our damage even more. But can we still keep ahead? They do have a lot of max life with those heart containers. They have increased their healing efficiency. But we do have battle rage for a long time, and this double axe is scaling up and smashing. So actually not too bad. Now we do want to check our DPS, which honestly is only about a 40 DPS, which is really not great. But opponent only did have a 25 DPS because we do have a lot of damage reduction with our shields and that shielded skill. But hey, we got 135 healing, which is not great. But 158 max life, which is pretty decent. Then on top of it, we had 241 block. While opponents had very little healing as well. So we're kind of offsetting the amount of damage that we actually do by reducing all that healing that our opponent does actually have. So I do think we can actually take this further. Especially since we're going to grab this, and yeah, we're going to slightly move this around a little bit and craft up that King's Crown. Now actually, the thing is, if we did find ourselves some Hawk runes, we would have some crit chance, even though it has been nerfed a little bit. I'm going to grab this gemstone, I'm going to roll again. I'm going to craft this gemstone up because I'm going to move this over and I'm going to be crafting these up as well. But let's roll again. And that is another freaking moon shield. Which, you know what? I'm going to sell our Amulet Feasting. I'm going to sell our Spike Shields. And I'm going to be taking this. And I will be crafting this up into that moon shield. Which, yeah, we're going to be crafting up 2 moon shields. That is going to be pretty darn smashing for us. We're going to be crafting up that King's Crown as well, which is going to give us that invulnerability once we stack up enough mana. And yeah, we should be in a pretty good spot. We're going to begin another double axe. They have the guard power to scale up their power as well, which does increase their damage. Along with the eye lamp, they do also have a King's Crown, and they do have a lot of healing reduction as well. But we do get our vulnerability right before we get battle rage, allowing us to scale up our double axe quite significantly. They also got their vulnerability too, but they have used up their battle rage with the utility pouch and smashing. Pretty darn awesome for sure. Well, let's keep moving. So I'm going to grab you, and I do want to add you in, but you're going to be a super fast trigger, so we kind of actually want you to be targeted with a steel goobert, which does kind of leave us with where we can place our prayer gloves. We can do something like this, and then move our eye lamp into here, but then we do lose that increased speed on our eye lamp. Now also, where our shields are, we can't actually get the value on our Dragonscale armor. But with a little bit better positioning, we can actually situate it like this, so we can get that extra armor from our Dragonscale armor. But hey, what should we go for right now? I kind of want to grab ourselves a spike collar, increase in our battle rage by 2 seconds, giving us a lot more damage reduction. I'm going to roll for now, and another Elfin Rune is amazing. More max life, let's keep going. Now we could actually grab ourselves another Glowing Crown in the final round for a little bit more invulnerability. There's a lot of golds for 2 seconds of vulnerability, which does allow our double axe to scale up just a tiny bit more. Although we could actually just look for some runes, but I'm going to reserve it and I'm going to move on. So we should be in a pretty decent spot the way we have it set up right now. Now we are going to begin an Excalibur with that smelly wall, and with that amethyst steel, this is going to be quite scary because they're going to get a lot of empower super fast. So they're going to be dealing quite a bit of damage. They have tons and tons and tons and tons of block, and it's only going to get higher and higher until we scale up our double axe. But hold on a second. They have so much block. Can we just attack through that block? All we need to do is deal big damage. They can stack up all their block at once. But can our 2 little blue gemstones take out opponents? That's so much block. All we need is one more hit and smashing. That was super, super satisfying, to be quite honest. 43 in power, 1500 block, and we still managed to win out with a freaking double axe of all things. Because with all the damage reduction that we do have, their opponent only had a 34 DPS, even though they did have 43 in power. Now, if they actually did have a mana thirst in, they would be making much, much better use of that in power as well, which wouldn't be too bad. But hey, with the amount of healing reduction and that we can attack through armor with our double axe, it's kind of a crazy, crazy good combo, while still being super defensive. Now, the Glowing Crown, it doesn't really provide a crazy amount of buffs for us. It will give us a tiny bit more vulnerability, it does give us a tiny bit more healing, and it does cleanse a lot of blight. But it would have been nice to grab some crit chance for a double axe. So do we actually grab this for one final bit of invulnerability? It is only 2 seconds. You know what, I'm going to grab it. I'm going to roll, and I would have actually liked to grab this mana orb because we could potentially stack up a few buffs, since we're going to be getting so much mana from our steel gooberts along with our moon shields. However, with our Glowing Crowns in, we're probably going to be just using up that mana for that invulnerability. And we could sell our spike collar for a mana orb. Is that going to be worth it though? We could also be using our badge runes inside our King's Crown for a lot less damage reduction as well. But I'd much prefer just reducing all that healing from our opponents, because between these 2 little gemstones, that should technically be 45% heal reduction and another 45% heal reduction. Pretty much almost being 100% healing reduction by these 2 alone. Then with these other gemstones, unless our opponent does have a lot of healing increased, we should be in a pretty decent spot. But I'm going to leave the mana orb, I'm going to roll once, and one Jin's lamp here would be pretty decent, because it works well with a shaman mask, and we could potentially lamp our double axe. But unfortunately, it was a little bit too late to find this one, so I'm just going to grab ourselves a Cell Blue Waves for now, scaling up our luck, increasing our accuracy, so guarantee hits with that double axe. But yeah, this is going to be our final setup, and a super defensive double axe run, and it turned out to be pretty decent. Let's go and see, are we going to build one out, or are we going to fall short? Now we are going to begin a Poison Ivy, Dark Saber, with a bunch of shields and shielded. They're going to be removing a lot of our stamina. But once we scale up our double axe, we should be in a pretty decent spot. They're going to be stacking up a lot of blinds, but with our luck stacking and our eye lamp, we should have 100% accuracy, guaranteed that we're going to be hitting with our double axe, scaling up. But hey, that's a good bit of poison on us, and a lot of blind too. But that Dark Saber is going to be attacking pretty fast, dealing insane amounts of damage. We do go into Battle Rage, which is going to reduce a lot of damage taken too. But that Dark Saber is crazy damage, unfortunately. And we do end up losing our final fight, which is a little less than ideal, but it is what it is. So we did end up facing another shielded opponent, which is pretty rough for us because it did make us deal very, very little damage, which is kind of funny. The damage reduction on these shields was enough to stop us beating down opponents. And unfortunately, this Darksaber scaled up so much damage that even with all the damage reduction, we couldn't actually stop it from murder facing us, especially with that Poison Ivy too, increasing the amount of damage we take since they stacked up that Poison Threshold. But anyways, we did survive with 1 life left. Let's go and see just how much rank points we managed to get. Plus it ranked us up a decent bit. But anyways, I'm going to leave it here for now. I just want to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, or even consider subscribing. And I hope to keep looking for the next one. I'll see you next time. Okay, so we're in the history. We're going to begin a Deathseye Serpent Staff with a big potion explosion. And you know what? I think we should have a pretty decent chance against this opponent. Now, unfortunately, these are going to be effect damage, which our Badger Runes and our shield don't block. But can we actually still win out? It's a lot of debuffs stacked up on us. They have a lot of armor, and they're still stacking up their debuffs. So we could potentially get one shot here. Now, we did survive the potion explosion. And smashing. Okay, so we're back in history, and we're going to be taking on a friendly fire, Flame Up, Burning Blade. They're going to be stacking up a lot of heats. They're going to be stacking up a lot of damage, but the thing is, with our shields, we do take a lot of stamina, making it a lot harder to scale up that damage. Now, they did get their friendly fire win con, dealing 100 damage, but we're still pretty darn healthy, and definitely not too bad taking on this Flame Up build. Okay, can we deal with this Nocturnal Locklifter, who's running a bunch of Spectral Daggers and a lot of lifesteal? However, their daggers are not going to be on their lifesteal, which is not so great for opponents, but they are going to be dealing a lot of damage. And they do attack through armor. They're going to have tons and tons of healing, but with our healing reduction, we should be able to counter this opponent quite significantly. And yeah, they do have Mana Mastery. They're going to be stacking up some buffs. They have a crazy amount of buffs, but again, awesome for us. And finally, we're going to, again, a Crossblades, Cursed Dagger, Doomcap type situation. They do have a lot of heal reduction. They're going to be inflicting a lot of debuffs, but with a Glowing Crown and with our Eye Lamp, we should be able to sustain our accuracy, meaning that we should be able to scale up our double axe pretty decently up against opponents as they inflict their poison and scale up their damage on their own Crossblades. But hey, we are way more defensive than opponents, so not too bad. Okay, and finally, we're going to begin Aegisal's Leaf with a Mana Mastery with a Magic Torch, double Mana Torch. So they're going to be getting a big Mana Buff Bomb. They're going to get tons of healing. They're going to have lots and lots and lots of scaling damage. But the thing is, with our setup, we eat up all their stamina, making it way more difficult to scale up for damage. And we have a lot of healing reduction too. While that Vampirism is not going to be doing too much for opponents, so actually, not too bad.